My name is Jeannie Rouse and I am a nursing student with Indiana State University. I'm doing a presentation in regards to childhood obesity and how to prevent and manage weight gain in school-age children. These are our learning objectives, so after this video, the learner or the person who's watching the video should be able to define childhood obesity using the CDC guidelines. You should be able to explain causes and risks of childhood obesity as defined by the CDC. You should be able to compare the dietary guidelines with your current diet to determine if you are eating healthy. You should be able to create a healthy meal plan using the myplate.gov website, and you can utilize your own food preferences. You should be able to construct a child exercise program that aligns with your lifestyle, and you should be able to locate resources to begin a healthy lifestyle for you and your family. And then at the bottom of this video in the little comments section, I do have a pre-test and a post-test. You should click on the pre-test link and take the test prior to watching this video to see where your knowledge lies within these categories, and then take the post-test to see if you learned anything. There's also some handy flyers if you ever wanted to use this information as a to show off to other people. You could print out some flyers at schools or anything. So let's get started. What does childhood obesity look like? Well, the obesity is defined as a body mass index at or above the 95th percentile that the CDC determines and it is also sex-specific BMI for age growth charts for children. It's a little bit different than adults, like where the adults just use the BMI prevalence. Childhood obesity is a serious problem in the United States, and it's putting children and adolescents at risk of poor health. The prevalence of child obesity is 18.5%, and it affects about 13.7 million children. Obesity prevalence was 13.9% among 2 to 5-year-olds, 18.4% among 6 to 11-year-olds, and 20.6% among 12 to 19-year-olds. It also has some disparities within different health groups and ethnicities. Hispanics has a child prevalence is 25.8%, and non-Hispanic Black childhood obesity is 22%. And they are both higher than non-white Hispanics, which is at 14.1%. We can also talk about the non-Hispanic Asian group is 11% and has lower obesity prevalences than non-Hispanic Blacks and Hispanics. The prevalence of obesity decreases with an increasing level of education of the household head among children and adolescent age groups. And obesity prevalence was 18.9% among children and adolescents ages 2 to 19 in the lowest income group, and 19.9% among those in the middle income group, and at 10.9% among the highest income groups. So you can see there's also a socioeconomic disparity among obesity rates as well. And what are the risk factors? There's a lot of health risk factors that children can get. The more overweight they become, they are at increased risk of getting diabetes, increased risk for cardiovascular disease later in life. They can develop metabolic conditions and hepatic and renal disorders like fatty liver disease. What causes childhood obesity? A lot of times it's just a lot of different things. It could be increasing sugary snacks and liquids like soda and snacky cakes, and a lot of those processed foods and things like Pop-Tarts and fruit snacks. Increasing portion control and fast food consumption. A lot of people don't know that fast food meals one meal is probably more than most people's caloric daily allowance, and people are eating that 2 to 3 times a day. Decreased activity level. We are in front of the TVs much more than we used to be. So get out and exercise. Environmental factors can cause obesity, such as just food deserts, having unclean water, things like that. And then socio-cultural factors in terms of different cultures believe different things, have their own issues and beliefs about food and dieting and what a healthy body means. So it could be a lot of different things. And then what does a healthy diet look like? There are some dietary guidelines that are out for Americans. They're the 2015 to 2020 dietary guidelines, and then they emphasize creating a healthy eating pattern that maintains health and reduces the risk of disease. The government website created My Plate, which is based on the dietary guidelines, and My Plate is a very easy resource to use. It offers messages, resources, and tools that can help you make the right food choices that are for your preferences. My Plate also offers tips and solutions that reflect your personal preferences, values, traditions, culture, and budget. As you can see on here, the healthy diet is made up of a variety of vegetables from all subgroups like dark green, red orange, beans, starchy vegetables, whole fruits, grains, at least half of which have to be whole grains, fat-free and or low-fat dairy, including milk, cheese, and yogurt, different varieties of proteins like seafood and lean meats, chicken, poultry, eggs, beans, nuts, and seeds. And then they want you to limit oils and saturated fats and trans fats, added sugars, and sodium. You can see some of these slides here kind of give you some portions of like how much of each thing is one portion. A lot of people don't know like a half a cup of vegetables is one portion and one slice of bread is one portion. And then this is like different food options where like if this was you can replace meal A with this really heavy carb-induced pasta and swap it for a much lighter version. It has more vegetables, more more color, more probably lower in calories because we're swapping out the high-fat dairy. And there's some over here also that kind of lets you know like portion distortion, like how much calories is in different sizes of different normal foods like this small cup of coffee versus this bigger coffee from a long time ago. So it kind of shows that 30 or 20 years ago, portions were much smaller, so people were a lot skinnier, and today they have increased in size, which could also be related to an increase in obesity rates. MyPlate.gov, like I said, is very, very helpful. You can get an app, your children can play with it. It helps you plan meals and kind of shows you like what things look like with visuals and cues. They have it in different languages. They have areas for low budgets, or if you're just on WIC, it kind of gives you recipes for that. They have tons of recipes in different ethnic food groups like Spanish, Puerto Rican, Asian dishes, African dishes, lots of different things. Very, very helpful. Enjoyed going through that website. This one just talks about making healthier meals at home. See, if you go out to eat, it's carb full, it's loaded with saturated fats, but if you stay at home, you can eat more vegetables, have a little protein, a little bit of grains. And then this is like what it's showing you. If you have about $20 can buy you this amount of food, but it can buy you this whole large amount of healthy food, and you could probably have a lot more leftovers left over from this grocery bulk down here. Down here. And then how much exercise does my child need? Well, youth ages 6 to 17 need at least 60 minutes of physical activity a day, including aerobic, muscle strengthening, and bone strengthening activities. Strong evidence suggests that regular physical activity helps people maintain a healthy weight, prevents excessive weight gain, and they can lose weight when combined with a healthy eating pattern low in calories. Strong evidence also demonstrates that regular physical activity lowers the risk of early death, lowers the risk of coronary heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, adverse blood lipid profile, which is like your cholesterol levels and your the fats in your blood, lowers the risk of type 2 diabetes, breast and colon cancer, and metabolic syndrome. It can also reduce depression in children as well. Some types of exercises you can work out with your kids. You can try walking the dog, going around the neighborhood, getting out and biking around the neighborhood. You can go to your local YMCA and sign up for activities that the kids like, soccer, swimming, anything like that. You could dance during your favorite TV commercials together. You can also get them fitness trackers, and it might make them more motivated to try to beat their like mom or dad at exercise games. You can always make it a competition where if they reach their goals, they can get a prize. Make sure the prize is not food motivated, just to kind of cut back on calories. Yard work, you can explore new areas. You could do stretches, yoga, any of those things. And then these are the references that you can visit if you need more information. This is where I got the CDC information of what obesity is. It's defined by the CDC. This is a study that proves scientific data that I've used for this video. ChooseMyPlate.gov. That is the most important website I have listed here. This is where you can go and find how to create healthy meal plans and set it all up. It also has information about exercise and how to get more exercise in. And this is a huge PDF guide right here of the dietary guidelines. Very informative, has a lot of pictures, things to look at, can be very helpful in determining a healthy diet. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great day.